Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. Okay. And I'm going to stop it there. I'll read the rest later. And this will start first by giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh, that belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you elect. Shalom. Your brothers are quiet from the Las Vegas church. Just want to go into this image of the beast video. Okay, this is what's coming down. This is the information and things that are happening and currently in our world that are lining up with prophecy. Particularly, the biggest prophecy is this right here, the image of the beast and the mark of the beast, right? The image is that way of life that's being set up, okay? And now technology and science have created that beast, image of the beast, to where it can both speak and live, basically. Okay, where people can live by there, and it can be that way that the Edomites, the rulerships, Amalek, the ruling class, Edom, basically the beast, which is the EU NATO nations of the Western world and also America, okay, will be able to control the population of the citizens in their countries, okay, and then eventually to make a one world government, okay, with that image where everybody is lined up with that. They say China had the model. Now, when I play these few videos, I'm going to explain to you how, well, you're going to be able to see how this image is being set up and how they want to control everything. Now, continuing in the verse, this is the end game of it, right? It says, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And how do you worship the image of the beast? By taking his mark within the body into your physical body, okay, which is a pledge of your allegiance of worship toward the beast, okay, by living that image, by getting that implant, okay. You can't be of the elect and demand salvation if you take the MOT to the B, okay, in your body. It don't work that way. The elect will have a way that they do not take that that inside that implant. Okay, I stuttered that on purpose. Okay, trying to keep it salty for YouTube. So you don't take that thing. Okay, so that you were able, and your faith will be tested, because it's going to come with, you won't be able to buy or sell, as it's going to say in the 16th verse. Okay, if you can't make any transaction, how are you supposed to eat when they're narrowing the world down to where, okay, you can't use cash no more. Okay, there's no coin, there's no cash. Okay, how do you make transaction? I make it through my phone. Then okay, eventually from my phone, I tap it with my card, and from all of those things, they're down to where the implant's the only way that you can do it. Okay, or be ostracized from the system. Okay, we see this coming down. I'm not going to go too far into it. Okay, but I'll read it. It says, and he calleth all both small. We've done videos on it. So going into the words charagma, charax, and graphos, you should already know these things, or you should be able to go into the root words and just go right in the Blue Letter Bible and keep going, following that root down for the word mark, where you'll start with charagma, then charax, and then graphos, and you'll see what those words mean, and tell me if it means something else. Okay, an implant, okay, put into your body, syringed into your body, that has your information on it. And this is what we see with Palantir, so on and so forth, gathering and putting together in the one database. All right, so anyway, it says, and he calleth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save except he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay, so you have to have that to buy or sell, to make transactions. Okay, well, I'm going to just use this one other image, because what's the penalty? Because they're watching your actions. They're mapping out things to see who's an enemy combatant, who you got in your house, who's hooked into this digital image this technocracy, where your technocracy goes back to being ruled by technology, where you're ruled by the technology, and it's not a because I want to be ruled by technology. In that day, it'll be you just are ruled by technology. Your TV's watching you, your phone is watching you. Okay, the cameras around the marketplace are watching you. Your IP address is watching you. Your Siri or Alexa is watching you. Okay, all these things are watching you. They're watching what you watch. They're watching the content you consume. Okay, they're watching you with what you're doing on your screen. I mean, I seen a video where this guy was in his house, and a smaller image popped up where you can see the person watching him through his TV. It was a small screen that popped up on the side where he was sitting there, and he's like, "Nigga, I see you. Hey," like waving at him, like, "I see you," and the person just doesn't say nothing because they don't believe that you can fake and do all that, but they don't think you can see him because we really can't. But you got to know with all these dots and lights and camera faces, so on and so forth, all over the TVs and your phones and everything, that they're watching. And as I play this next video, it's going to open you to what some of these companies are doing. And like I've been saying this time and time again, as I'm in here now with one of these new devices in this room that I'm currently sitting in, just the way it says and does things, okay? To me, it has the sound like it's the way the sound, I'm going to say something. Ziggy, main light, 80%.
I see you referring to Deja's light. Would you like to turn it on or off, or adjust its brightness?
Okay, I have it. You see what's there? See what I'm saying? And it's listening right now, waiting on me to give it a command or whatever. But the way the sound vibrates through the room has a bassier voice, and that vibration carries. And what does it remind you of? Sonar. Okay, mapping out the room. Now watch what I play with this guy's video. Okay? Actually, before I play this, I'm gonna say one more something to tie it all in. Because everything you see that they're doing, if you have the ability to see and perceive this, you can see how this is all lining up. Now, it may sound like one simple move, but when you look at the power of these moves, and what do you see? ICE going city to city, work site to work site. Then they're starting to go down neighborhoods. Eventually, they'll go door to door. Okay? And they won't just be looking for immigrants or migrants. Okay? They'll be looking for enemy combat, homeborn T's. Okay? Okay? You know the word I'm saying. The error T. Okay? They're looking for it. Those that speak truth. Okay? When you go back to movies where they gave up this type of information, like 1984 and Orwell and so on and so forth, one of the quotes of the time was, how did it go? In a time of universal deceit, the truth will be an act of revolutionary. The truth will be seen as a revolutionary act. Okay? Basically, speaking the truth is revolutionary. You're against the system. Okay? In a time of universal deceit, they have to completely control you. Big Brother, which is the big brother of Jacob of the Israelites, who's the big brother of Jacob? Esau, which makes them the Edomites, or the so-called whites that rule the world. Okay? You caught that. All right? So when you put all this together, you start to see the bigger picture. All right? So once they go house to house, building to building, setting up surveillance here and there, start implanting, okay, and people involuntarily, okay, forcing it on people, okay, do this, and the force ain't like do this or die as much as it is do this or you will die, okay, but we know eventually it'll go the other way, You know, they'll start forcing it in so many ways. So, all right, let's go into this video first. And this is about the Roomba. Okay? And people overlook this commercial. Fair use, fair use, fair use, right? People overlooked this commercial for what it was. And I'm trying to remember the year that it came out. Let me see. Okay, again, fair use, fair use, fair use. This is not for monetary gain or value, simply for educational purposes. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Okay, now the video at the bottom is that video. Okay, and this went over everybody's head. Everybody's looking at the lollipop, forgetting what the video is actually about. Okay, and I'm going to actually play it. Apostle plays it slow. I don't know if that'll work. It's only 15 seconds. Maybe we'll play that because I'm going to play it fast, actually. I'm going to play it really fast and I'm going to play it without the sound. Let's see what happens. Lord willing. Fair use, fair use, fair use. All right, without further ado, let's see what happens. Okay, we see it. Okay. Okay, that's the video. Okay. Robot vacuum and mop. Yep, looking for that avoids more of the objects you wanted to avoid. How? Because it can see. And what did it show you in the video? It showed you, okay, that there were humans in a lab going around certain things, like basically looking. Okay, and I'm trying to see if I can back it up to behind the guy. Okay, play a little faster again. So they're watching everything. There's a longer version of this, and in the background you see the mapping in the background on that screen behind them in the back of the room. That's like you're looking and see. It's almost like the commercial when you watch another version, the longer version of the cartoon. It might even air at the Super Bowl. I don't watch the Super Bowl, so I don't know anymore, but I imagine it would have. Okay, but they have that, and it's quickly slipped in there. This is from 2023, it said. Okay, but it has it to where it's almost like they're inside the Roomba, looking around out the little window, which is the camera, looking out of it, mapping out the room and seeing where to go and not run into things and not just be trying to vacuum up a wall or a table or something, table leg. Okay? Not understanding what's in there, but it's like they're saying like it's a human in there and they're gonna go around the backpack versus trying to suck up one of the straps of the backpack, right? So they're showing you that it's almost like humans or human technology in there watching certain things, telling it to do certain things. Well, look at this. Okay. Well, there was a lawsuit that went out. Okay. It says is the AI overview to give you the basics of it, right? You can go deeper into the news of it, so on and so forth, right? From 2022. But that commercial came out 2023. Even some more in 2022. Look, 2023 it said in January, photographed a woman on the toilet and it ended up on social media. Okay, so when we go back to AI, it says the AI overview says multiple reports describe privacy concerns and potential lawsuits related to Roomba's camera capabilities and the subsequent handling of the data collected. Roomba devices are equipped with cameras used for navigation and mapping, which also capture images of the robot's surroundings. Now, when I played this device that's in the room that I'm in now, and it told me, what would you like me to do? Turn on this and turn down that or whatever. And the sound of the voice seemed to bassy and sending out a vibration. It could easily be mapping the room. So as that echo goes through the house and it maps the room out, and then it begins to go louder or whatever, and it maps out. Now it connects to the other speakers and other devices in the home, whether it be the TV, now sent through your router, now sent through your other TV, through your laptop, through your computer, through your phones. Okay, what happens when there's a natural disaster happening out in your town. The emergency alert system, national, broadcast system comes on your phone. It'll come across your TV screen, flash flood warnings, dust storms in Nevada, severe heat, whatever the case may be. Okay, these start to come out, and your phones will go off, your TV will go off, the different devices, the Alexas and so on, so forth, begin to go off, and they just tell you, sending out a certain signal. Okay, how is it that you can give it voice commands, but it's not supposed to be listening? It has to be listening to catch any command that's going on. If you say something that sounds kind of like it, okay, what the heck or I don't know, I'm just throwing out crazy stuff. You say something that kind of sounds like it, okay, and it begins to pick its ears up and listen, okay. I remember when we first had a device in the house, and certain times you see the light just go around a little ring, like it's listening, the listening little blue light or whatever. And the house would be dark, we'd be watching TV, and something that was set on TV would send a little light around the loop, like it's listening, like, oh, it's listening for a command. Nothing got said, and then I'm sitting here trying to figure out, knowing me, then what was said in the movie that made it operate? Was it something said, or did it just start trying to listen because it's been 35 minutes or whatever, trying to find a pattern or a rhythm to it? Okay, well, just to show you, the image of this beast is going to have everything connected. We've seen movies with it. Tell me how in the movie Demolition Man, which is a movie that comes up a lot in this truth, because they were living under the image of the beast in that movie, right? Anytime you said a cuss word, there was a citation that was given out, no matter where in the city they were, in buildings, outside, in the public, it didn't matter. In your home, a citation was issued. And we know they're making a social credit score, okay, that's attributed to each person. You go in the Black Mirror, okay, nosedive, and you see it in there as well. Every time something was happening, whether it be on their device or whatever, there were social credit points docked or given. Okay? And people were judging one another and their how good a person they are, consensus of other people. Okay, so on and so on. Even though he brought donuts to work, we don't like him because he dumped our friend. Do 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 do. All of this is tied right into this image. All right? And something as simple as this helps map out rooms and know who's in your house. Okay? Knowing, okay, someone in a different tax bracket is in their house. Why? Because I can read their implant in the house. It's pinging off their implant. Just like a GPS signal. Just like the thing we all watched for the icon or the image for the video, the image that was attributed to Not Like Us. Okay, they had the Toronto house with all those pings in there on that list, and I'm not going to go into what it was. We know what that was, right? No different than that. There's 6 people in this house that are guilty, that have been charged with this idea or whatever. Okay? So they're mapping out the types of people, what they do, the frequency, and we didn't gave them most of all this information from social media, whether it was Facebook, whether it was the gram, any of it. Okay? Reading on, it says Roomba devices are equipped with cameras used for navigation and mapping, which also capture images of the robot's surroundings. In late 2022, an investigation by the MIT Technology Review revealed that intimate images captured by development versions of Roomba vacuums, including one of a woman on a toilet, were leaked online. These images were taken by test units provided to paid beta testers who had consented to data collection for AI training purposes. Okay, how often does the average citizen read the cookies consent? Okay, to progress in a certain app or whatever they're doing, a certain website. People we consent to this thing. We don't read the policies. We just consent. A lot of little things are in this. Some of these phones are already tapped in, and by having this type of phone, you're already consenting to it. Okay? You really can't use the device without it sometimes. It's funny how things go wrong now. It's slow and all these issues. And they're reading every little thing, how quickly you tap, 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 double tap to go into things, how much you're impatient. Okay? All this stuff is being mapped up. Okay? A lot of you jakes out there you that played was it PlayStation, whether it's PlayStation and Xbox, when you was playing Madden and 2K and all of that, they were mapping and they take maps of how you play the game. Oh, he always press triangle before he shoots. He tap, tap, tap 3 times to do this. To cross, he presses it erratically. He turbo, 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 turbo. They're mapping all those things. So no different than on a cell phone, no different than in your life, in your car. Okay, everything is being tracked and mapped. Okay, this is what they're building in the image of the beast. All right, and the further into the future we go, the further are we being controlled by technology. Okay, so like my personal preference, but I'm not into. I've never driven one, so I don't know. But even if I did, the idea that my car can take over, lock me in the car, and drive for me, I'm not feeling that idea. I like the human interaction of driving. If I don't feel like driving, I'll rent a car, or get in the Uber or whatever, ride share something, cab, bus. I'll do something different. I won't go. Okay, that's my personal opinion on that. I don't need to have a Tesla, even though they say it's one of the greatest vehicles ever created, so on and so forth. It's not my idea of what I want to do. I don't like its capabilities. And the same thing with these Roombas. I wouldn't get one now. My sister was telling me, hey, I got these cheap Roombas up here at the secondhand store. You want me to get you one? No, thanks. I'm not into that. Okay? So iRobot, the manufacturer, stated that the leaked images were taken by special development robots not sold to consumers, and that the testers had signed agreements acknowledging data collection. The company attributed the leak to contractors at Scale AI. AI is everywhere now, a startup responsible for labeling the data, who allegedly shared the images in private online groups. Why that would even be captured? Okay, this is you start getting too deep into why and who and for what profit or gain, and then it just the Pandora's box continues to open wider and wider, and our freedoms, as we say here in this country, get less and less and less. Okay, some beta testers have expressed feeling misled about how their data would be handled, despite signing agreements permitting data collection, these cookies, leading to concerns about the blurriness of the line between testers and consumers. Okay, and it continues to go on. I'll read it all. While the leaked images did not originate from commercially available Roombas, this incident highlighted potential privacy risks associated with robot vacuum cleaners that collect visual data. In addition, but the commercial of the one that was sold to consumers had the people in there avoiding backpacks and around lollipops and so on and so forth. Okay, and they're talking, having a regular conversation back there, like they were in a room with the computers looking at a screen, monitoring what's going on. Okay, I've even heard that even when you turn these TVs off, like flat screens off, they can still watch. I had a lady that I met many years ago. This was like early 2000. And they would take it in their house. They would unplug the TV, wrap it up, and put it in the corner facing the wall. Okay, but now what do? We have them where they're set up, and they're just they're hanging off the wall, and they can't be completely shut down. People are putting screens in front of them, putting art, in front of them, like that's gonna solve things. And it seems to be a great idea. Like you put a little band-aid or a piece of tape over the camera on your phone. Okay, but at the end of the day, what ends up happening? Like I said, in the next video is gonna give you what I believe these things really, really do. These pings through vibration of sonar. When you let me go into sonar, but let me finish reading this. I'll go to sonar, then I'll get that other video to close. It says, in addition to privacy concerns, iRobot has faced other lawsuits related to its Roomba devices, including patent infringement lawsuits against rival manufacturers and a class action lawsuit alleging defects in the vacuum's core processing unit and wheel malfunction. Okay, the incident surrounding the leaked images brought about heightened awareness of privacy risks associated with robot vacuum cleaners that utilize cameras for navigation and mapping purposes. Like I said, there's also sonar. Let's go into sonar. Okay, this is just a video on YouTube I happen to just click on. Fair use, fair use, fair use, simply for educational purposes, not for monetary value. All right, so let's watch.
Wall in front of us. And what I'm going to do is if you click on the sensors, if you click on the view sensors button, then you can see how my sonar sensor is hitting this wall. Okay, so now when I press play, my robot's going to move forward. It's thinking on its own now. It's thinking, it's shooting out the sensor. And then once it realizes that something is 10 in front of it, it's going to stop. Okay, and so then when I scroll around, you can actually see that it sees that it did not hit the wall. It actually sensed something was 10 centimeters in front of it, and it stopped. Okay, so that is how you would program your robot to go out on its own. Once it senses something is in front of it, it will then move on to the next part of your program. So again, like I said, the next part of my...
And see, just taking that little bit right there, we see how these Tesla robots are now able to just move around. Whether they be the dogs, whether eventually be the ones that are in your house. Okay, that look human, the humanoid type. Okay, just giving you a sense. Now that's that. Now let's go into actual sonar. I just happen to see that robot sonar programming. And he says into the next program. Now you program it. We've seen this in RoboCop, and we've just seen this information and this technology around. Okay? Now let me go to just sonar. All right, here we go.
For the most part, we don't know what lies beneath the surface of our oceans. Most of the waters and ocean floor remain unexplored. But with new technology, projects are underway to find out what lies in the deep. Since 2004, a team of scientists has been cruising the Caribbean surrounding Puerto Rico, as well as St. Thomas and St. John Islands in the U.S. Virgin Islands, to create a comprehensive map of the seabed. NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, is the U.S. agency in charge of mapping, protecting, and managing some of these waters. They're updating old nautical charts.
So a nautical chart has soundings on it, just discrete locations. But our map is continuous. We can see the ups and downs, the ridges, the ledges of the sea bottom, and all of that is important information for a manager, as well as to make the linkages between the seafloor habitat and the types of organisms that are using that.
The waters off the coast of St. Thomas and St. John have important habitat, including coral reefs. The waters have protected areas as well as areas where commercial fishing is allowed. Each year, the NOAA ship Nancy Foster zigzags through the water using sonar to scan the seabed. The ship emits more than 3,500 pings per second in a wide fan, creating an image as if painting strips of data across the seafloor. Weeks of battle, scientists can tell if the bottom is hard, sandy, soft, covered in coral, seagrass, or other soft plants. By combining the sonar data with direct observations, NOAA creates detailed maps of the seafloor habitat. Weeks of back-and-forth sailing in a pattern much like mowing a lawn yields traditional chart information, including bathymetry, or depth, in incredible detail. But the sonar data reveals a lot more than depth. Based on the intensity of the echo, scientists can tell if the bottom is hard, sandy, soft, covered.
The intensity of the echo. The Alexa we had, it was called Echo. Okay? The original one I had in my house. And I'm like, I'm getting tired of this stuff. And I understand at some point we're going to have to, like, if we move, we're going to have to turn. I don't even want to set that stuff up in the new house. I don't need that new house mapped with me in it. Okay? I've seen in the movie RoboCop, he had to go into he went to thermal imaging, okay, which they have that technology as well, thermal imaging the room, so you could see where the heat people were at in the room. and there was a hostage situation. I'm talking about the 1984 version. I've never seen the other movie, but in 1984 they had that where he snatched it through the wall because he could see he went in the back way through, and just grabbed him through the wall and got him that way. Okay, so this is all something that can and will be used against you in the image of the beast. Okay, so the last thing, that was enough of that video. You can go into more of that if you need to, if you like. But watch this. Fair use, fair use, fair use as well.
Watching you through your Wi-Fi now. Xfinity just rolled out something called Wi-Fi Motion, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It tracks movement inside your home using nothing but your Wi-Fi signals. No cameras, no sensors, just your router blasting invisible waves and reading how they bounce off your body. That's not Wi-Fi anymore. That's a radar. You walk across the room, it knows. You open a door, it knows. You sit still too long, it knows. It's a motion detection through your internet. And the craziest part? It's already built into the router, just waiting to be activated. Most people won't even realize they've installed live surveillance in their own home. Xfinity calls it a feature, but this isn't smart tech. It's a silent wireless tracking system. And once your router can map your movements, you're not just connected, you're monitored constantly. This is how the surveillance state gets in. Not with cameras, but with conveniences. Not with force, but with features. And by the time people figure it out, the cage is already built. They're watching.
Okay. And so you see how the already existing technology can be used for future surveillance. Okay, which is all part of the beast. Make sure you fit the criteria. You're on one of those lists. Okay, yellow, black, red, green, whatever color list that they may have or come up with of where you fit and how you're defined. And how are you defined? By your beliefs, what you're into, what you do. Okay, even in the privacy of your own home. We're supposed to have the most freedom in this country at. Okay, so just understand this is what's coming. Okay, this is what they're showing you in the movies. This is what you're seeing. And they scare you with movies like Enemy of the State and all these different things. Okay, excellent examples, of fantasy type things that can easily become a reality. All right, so keep that in mind as they're policing this system. They plan to police this system when they come down and hunt the prophets and the enemy combatants. They're going to go through a bunch of people. It's starting with ICE now. They're going to squeeze you, and they're going to track your bank accounts. Hey, wait, there's no implant in this facility or in this this home, but then there's food coming in here because the food will be tracked. We know A-Peel and all the Bill Gates foods and peels and all those other things that is going on with that GMO stuff. Okay, this food is moving this way, track this and that way, and people are surviving, but there's no one with the implant in this house. How is that possible? Where are you getting this money from? How? And they're policing and watching everything, monitoring everything. Okay, Sprouts and I think Whole Foods or whoever it was, the Amazon store. You put an item into your basket, and that code, what's it called? The barcode is instantly scanned by something sitting on the basket that you put your palm print with, that you insert your card with. Eventually, you'll tap it with your hand with the implant. Okay? All of this is part of the image of the beast being set up. Okay? Mapping out everything. Mapping out your personal, oh, he's aroused. Oh, he's inflamed and irate. Oh, he's calm and resting. All of this can easily be seen and watched by the technology now, which why we call it a technocracy. Okay, so this is what everybody's in for. This is where we're headed to. And we're a lot closer than you think. All right? So get girded with this truth, with the understanding, because when you deny the system, you're going to need the faith and belief in the miracles of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai to survive in that evil day. So Lord willing, is edifying, giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yashai, Ba'ashem Chakodash. Until the next one, Shalom.